You are a citrus and passion fruit cheesecake. And yes, you understand the most important thing of all. If you fade the crowd, you're going to be all right. If you go with the crowd, unfortunately, you see there's no juice left, friends, because you are, by definition, buying in when most people have bought in. You are selling out when most people have already sold out. Interesting, though, the crowd is always right actually in the middle. That's the funny part, because the crowd believes in momentum, right? So when thing bottoms and we start going in the middle, the crowd's actually correct. Same things when we topped out and we start going down. The problem, though, is they keep following that linear part. It's just one certain inflection point is the final one that keeps turning the cycle. So from very, very tops, it goes up, down, up, down, up. The crowd is wrong, but then eventually it goes down, and guess what? They're all bearish again. And they're like, oh, we're going down, it's going to go down lower. And then actually happens. So the crowd does actually become correct. But you're going to make it in crypto. Why? Because you're not in the 60-40 stock market portfolio, friends. Isn't it amazing that for the past 30 years, the most common cookie cutter 100% win rate portfolio is a 60-40 portfolio? Look at this fat Wojak. In a 60-40 portfolio, the 40% part is bonds, which has an infinite supply. How about that? Inflating forever. Imagine you just own the coin. You're like, what's your inflation rate? And you're like, well, it changes from time to time. Where you can just push a button and inflate it wherever you want. Now, it's also tongue-in-cheek. Don't think just because, bonds have inflation rate infinite, technically, they can do whatever they want. Doesn't mean that they're not useful. Of course, they're very useful. But what does the crowd consensus think on that? They think, well, 60-40 portfolio, everybody is funneled into that because they have 60% stocks and they expect the 40% bonds. When the stocks go down, they got to cut rates, so the bond price goes up and it helps smooth out the returns. But, you're not going to make it in that game, friends. What, you're getting a 7% per year? You're getting it a 2x after 10 years? Come on, man. This is for what? All right, if your portfolio is 800K, then you're going to get excited over a 2x over 10 years. Are you, though? Are you really? You're going to lose to inflation, man. You know this, friends. That's what the government wants you to go buy their bonds. That's the only thing to talk about is government bonds. That's what they want you to do. Go buy their bonds and enjoy your loss of purchasing power for the next 10 years. Because, your 1.6 million ain't worth 1.6 million in 10 years from now. It's inflating at 3.5% per year. The real rate, by the way, is 5%. They just don't tell you that one. So you did 5%, friends, over 10 years. Not even compound. You lost 50% already. So half of your gains are just poop. Nothing. Yeah, we know this game, though. Like, for everything to reprice, either everything's got to crash or you've got to bunny hop faster. Perma bears believe everything's got to crash constantly. You got Harry Dent, otherwise known as Harry Nuts. Shout out to Dr. Hexologist for that one. You got people like that and Uncle Peter Schiff. Like, we love them, but at some point, you got to remember, like, yes, I'm not going to go long the infinite supply thing when you have 100 years of the charts just showing you, like, hey, things go up. That's it. But, don't take that to the extreme, because at the end of the day, at some point, things do go from one extreme to the other and have these mid-cycle corrections here and there, and then you got to make sure you're not caught with your pants down. But now, like, it's obvious, yeah? The crowd is in the crowded Ponzi trade. Only a pivot can save it. Yes, it's only a pivot can save it. They're like, crap, these bonds are just losing value. Nobody in the world wants to buy them. Let's lower the rate. So that's where we're basically going with this. And, this bullish undertone, friends, that's the most important thing you have in crypto, because once the crowd figures all of this out, again, they'll be euphoric. And then you'll have premium prices. Aren't you glad you bought in the depression? Now, we also got to be careful of things as well, because look, when I posted this, friends, this was back in early March, just showing you, like, on Crypto Banter Show, shout out to Rand. See, this is the thing, okay? Crypto Banter Show and other channels, what I'm doing is, friends, they're not... Look, it doesn't matter what you think of anybody. Like, do they have good intentions or bad intentions? Or are they, like, trying to lead everybody astray or not? Or are they just succumbing to their own emotions? It doesn't really matter. The crowd does the same things every time. Even if, this is the funny part, even if they have good intentions... This is the thing. So they're like, well, I'm happy, let me post happy titles. Or I'm sad, let me post sad titles. Even if they have good intentions, the crowd will gravitate, like, and demand the rest of the crowd's emotions to be displayed. So In bullish times, the crowd will respond by liking, subscribing, and following and replying. They'll respond and engage more with bullish sentiment titles. Same as Twitter, Roonies, YouTube, you name it. And in bear times, because everyone's basically short to get lower and they're basically sold out to buy lower, it's the same thing. They'll follow the red thumbnail stuff. We saw this happen, by the way. You know, in 2022, as everything was crashing, we specifically saw, and I was making posts on this, I think many YouTube channels, even like Meet Kevin from Stonk Market World, his red thumbnails, friends, were getting like, you know, they'd have like 200,000 views, and then the green thumbnails were like 100,000. So the red ones were always like, doom, doom, crash, 200,000 views. All the green ones, sweet, we're actually going to get through this, 100,000. 2 to 1. I saw it on YouTubers as well. What about now? Crypto bans are premiering. Okay. Why everyone in crypto could still be early. Expect a SuperCycle. So I listened to it, right? Mr. Puzu, when it comes to 3AC. So I could see it. Look, there's always a case for everything. It doesn't really matter. Or what's going to happen, you don't know. All that matters is, look, before anything becomes a SuperCycle, you stop at the high prices that you think are high now. And then you have a decision to make. You can't avoid that. We can't just go, well, let's teleport. That doesn't happen. Okay, and trust me, once you're moving up to the middle of the range, okay, the market does not put out a magical sign and say, don't worry, I'm going to keep running higher. You just have to hold longer. Doesn't happen. You start to see people happy. And then you have to think, crap, you know, maybe Bitcoin. Okay, you have Bitcoin 300K target. All right, when it's at 80 or 95, maybe even taps 100, then you and it stalls. Maybe you have to say, okay, well, is 0% stablecoins the right portfolio here? Many people say, we're still going higher, we're still going higher. They don't deal in a world of where the winners deal with. The winners, friends, they deal in a world of, okay, well, I can be wrong about something. That's how I'm actually going to make money. Me to win, okay? If you deal with certainty, you're sitting duck because you can't know all the circumstances and all the outcomes of all times, okay? But however, if you know that you're going to hold this for a long time, you are going to make it for sure. I want to draw your attention as well to the Coinbase app, friends. I mean, this is a post from a very, very nice post. Look at this. One reliable indicator is when the Coinbase app is the #1 downloaded app. Very, very important on the App Store. It's very reliably predicted pretty much 2 tops, 2021 and the top in 2017. So it topped out, here we go. 8th of December 2017, Coinbase was the #1 app on the App Store about a week before Bitcoin topped. In early May 2021, it topped #1 and Bitcoin already topped 65K about 2 weeks prior. So this is a crazy signal. #1, when you're a #1 app store, It also happened in late October 2021. It became #1 and basically 2 weeks later, Bitcoin topped out. This is the Bitcoin price chart. So Coinbase, #1 app here, #1 app here. Isn't that crazy? Right here, #1 app, #1 app. That's nuts. And then as well, #1 app in here. So what we've seen from this is literally the Coinbase app. It's literally like sell. It's not even like, oh, we've got a month or 2 or 3 left. It's like, no, sell. It could have already been 2 weeks ago in one of these scenarios. In April, for example, like it showed you. Oh, man, this is the type of stuff you need, man. It follows the consensus that when too many retail pile into Bitcoin, it means the smart money is getting out. Yes. That's why, man. Markets move in pendulums. You can't all win, okay? You have a middle homeostasis area. We sit in the middle. And you know, once the non-believers get in, that is a cause for concern. It means it's very, very risky. Friends, it's literally like, well, you're in a school soccer team and you're like, you're starting to pick like the kids who haven't played soccer before. You're starting to pick the ballerinas on the team. You're watching it, you're like, oh no, something bad, like, you know, it's waiting for disaster to happen. Now, here's the thing. Before the soccer match starts, you're like, sweet, there's hope, right? Yes, maybe those non-believers, the unskilled ones, maybe they'll actually blink at this time. But most of the time, that doesn't happen, of course. Most of the time, what happens is, this is the thing, you don't even need news. It's just the prices start going down, and they're like, oh, I don't feel good. And they start clicking out. And then they realize, oh my gosh, the bids are gone because they got everybody in. you've run out of buyers, okay? Because there's no more dip buyers anymore as aggressively as there was. They were the final ones. They're the top buyers. So that's what we're basically waiting to see. So at the time of posting here, Coinbase was number 168. All right, that's crazy. So currently Coinbase, I think I actually showed it earlier, right? Currently Coinbase is ranked 20 in the finance category, but it's gaining rank very rapidly. Something to watch out for. And this is not, see friends, what I tell you, X factor signals. These are the things you look at. Now I'm hoping that there's like 6 of them once. And you're like, you have like 6 signals and they're like, oh, 50-50 here and there. And then Coinbase app hits number 1. I'm like, okay, it's literally over. But it's funny, right? I've just shown you this. I know not everyone's still going to follow it. I've been here, man. Friends, you can read 100 years of stock market journals. You know that, right? No matter, trust me, no matter what happens, no matter what the news is, people will buy the highs and they'll sell the bottoms. That's it. We are a slave to our emotions. There's something about these candles. We just look at them. We see value going up. It's meant to be scarce. It is when we invest. We're just not built for it, I guess. But you are built for it. Like, okay, 90% of you on one side, I'm going the other way. That's what you have to do. Make sure you like, subscribe, bell button, or catch you soon.